Welcome to You Gotta See This Movie, podcast of two guys who love to talk about movies as well as the deeper things that make these stories more than just a movie. If this is the sort of thing that you're into, then please like and subscribe and click that notification button so you don't miss an episode. All right, I'm Michael.
And I'm James.
And you're James for today.
For today.
All right. And why are you James for today?
Because we're going to be talking about James Cameron's The Abyss.
The Abyss.
Wait, is it The Abyss or just Abyss?
No, it's
it's
The
the
Abyss.
It's
Yeah.
the Abyss.
So what's interesting enough is that that this movie, today when this podcast is getting released, that it is now finally coming out on 4K physical media. This is a kind of a big deal for the physical media community.
Yeah.
Because they've been waiting for this movie. This has been the last way to own and watch The Abyss for years now. Like they never made a Blu-ray.
Oh, they didn't do a Blu-ray?
No, what happened was James Cameron just got too busy doing the Blue People stuff.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he's just like, I got no time to release The Abyss. And
Yeah,
not
but
only,
why does he have to do anything? Why doesn't he just say,
because
tell his people, put it on Blu-ray?
Well, because he wants to be the one to like go over the color grading, the sound. He wants to, and I get that. You know, you're in a sense, the 4K is like the best version. On paper, it should be the best version of a disc, and you want that to be the thing. So not only The Abyss comes out on the day, but also True Lies, another James Cameron movie, and Aliens.
Nice.
So he's finally kind of releasing these films, which is he's taking a break from the Blue People.
Is he doing more Blue People?
I think he's going to do that till the day he dies.
Dang.
Yeah, he'll be doing Blue People for a while. So.
Wait, how many Blue People movies were there?
There's 2 now.
Okay, there's not 3.
There's going to be 3. Oh yeah, there's more coming.
There's more coming. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. Well, before we get into The Abyss and we start talking about that, I have a list for you because we are talking about The Abyss, and of course, The Abyss takes place underwater. And there's a lot of movies that take place on water or underwater, and there is a list. I have a list of the top 10 movies that take place underwater.
Underwater.
For the most part, underwater.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You can try to guess all 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to be able to get them all.
No,
okay.
you're not. There's some
Okay.
that I bet
So
you never heard of.
The Abyss.
That is number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
That is number 2.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Better be on there.
That was number 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I think 1960
Not on
something.
here.
How can that not be on there? They're voyaging to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, you would think. But
The whole thing's underwater.
no.
Like the whole movie's underwater.
No, it's not on here, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I will tell you this. There's only one other movie that predates 20,000 Leagues. So everything else is pretty modern.
Wow, there's one before then.
Yeah.
It's underwater?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me just... Hunt for Red October.
Not on here. And just to let you know, this is from starburstmagazine.com.
Like the candy?
Starburst. They just... No.
Starburst? The heck is Starburst?
Yeah, no.
It's like
Star as in like movie stars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, like Starlog. Well,
Yeah.
Starlog was the sci-fi magazine.
Yeah.
This is Starburst. Okay.
Starburst.
All right. Leviathan.
Leviathan is number 10.
Deep Star 6.
Well, here's the thing. They have it list number 10 with Leviathan and Deep Star 6.
How can they put them
So
together?
I don't know if it was like a tie. I don't know.
That's dumb. Okay.
Interesting. Those movies came out in the same year.
Yeah, it was like the triple.
Yeah.
Like the Abyss. Like while the Abyss was in production,
Yeah.
Leviathan was going on and Deep Star 6.
Peter Weller, RoboCop, was in Deep Star. No, he was in Leviathan.
Right.
And then I think Robert Shaw was Deep Star 6.
I don't know if I've seen Deep Star 6. I saw Leviathan, but
I've seen, yeah. See, it's kind of weird.
Huh.
Isn't it weird how Hollywood does that? Just like,
The triple.
here's a bunch of ocean movies you get in 1 year. You get
they always do the triple. Like Armageddon,
Yeah.
Armageddon was in production with
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact and
I don't remember.
what was the other one?
I just remember those two.
There was another one. They do the triple.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to do a. Okay. There's a goofy movie from the '60s called Hello Down There.
No,
I know
you're
it's
not
not-
gonna guess these.
I know it's not.
but there is one.
Wait,
there's
why
a-
am I not going to guess
I don't
it?
know because you're like way off.
I know. I like the
But there
weird
is
stuff.
one that I'm surprised you haven't gotten.
Underwater.
I mean, it's the number one movie.
Is the number one underwater movie?
It's underwater or above water, but it's water.
Not Water World, because that's all
No.
above water.
It's not Waterworld. Oh, that'd be a fascinating movie to talk about.
That would be a fun one to
That'd
talk
be a fun
about.
one.
Is that a movie you got to see?
I think so.
Right?
I think so. I like Waterworld.
A lot of people like it. Like,
Yes. I was at the right age at the right time to watch that movie.
Well, they had a whole attraction at
For years.
Universal
For
Studios. They had the
years.
Waterworld
They
show.
did.
All right, we got to do Waterworld. Okay, I don't know what's the number one.
All right, number one is Jaws.
That's not an underwater movie. That's on top.
I said underwater or on water. Clearly.
But it
said.
doesn't belong on that list because it's not like it's got to be like a submarine or an underground city or just
Okay, well then you won't like
the
number
deep.
three.
The deep. The deep, is that on there? The deep.
Oh, that's the one with Robert Shaw. He did the deep.
The deep. That was just a bunch of diving though, right?
I can't remember.
Uh,
No, number three,
number-
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Not an underwater movie.
Yeah. Number four is Aquaman, which I know you haven't seen.
Uh,
Deep Rising, 1998.
oh, that was.
That was kind of like an Abyss. It was if the Abyss got, if the aliens were a bit hardcore.
I got a little movie magic for you.
Okay.
That guy's from Deep Rising.
That guy's from Deep
That
Rising?
guy is
Oh.
he got his skin sucked off by the sea monster.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah. Of course, he's still wearing his life jacket.
Well, yeah. I
Well,
mean,
we'll
that
have-
makes sense.
I'll have to tell you that story later.
Yeah, that's number six. Number seven was a movie called The Shallows, which I actually really liked. That's a
Really?
shark movie. It's about a girl surfer surfing, and she's like in this lagoon, but she ends up getting stuck on like a reef.
Oh,
But so the tide's low enough where she's like stuck on it,
and she can't swim.
but the
'cause-
shark is just like circling.
Oh dang!
Yeah, it's an intense movie. I always get intense with movies that like
Huh.
there's something like Placid, giant crocodile movie.
Oh,
That's a good movie. I like that movie a lot.
okay. So The Shallows, and Placid. I got to put that on my list.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I recommend them.
Did we do 10? We must have done 10 or more on your list.
Let's see, Creature, Aquaman, a movie called Below, which I think I remember seeing. It's another like scary movie. Yeah.
Hmm.
Deep Rising, which we talked about, Shallow, like Placid, and then Leviathan and Deep Star 6.
All right.
Yeah. I do like underwater movies. I think they're interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk about today's movie. What is the movie that you got to see?
You have got to see The Abyss, 1989. A civilian diving team is enlisted to search for a lost nuclear submarine and faces danger while encountering an aquatic alien species.
Aquatic alien species.
Aquatic alien species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything? I think is this kind of like the first movie that has to do with aquatic alien species? I
It
don't think
might
it's never
be.
been done before, right? And we've had underwater movies, we've had scary
You've had underwater
movies, we've had
monsters.
creatures and monsters,
Creatures
but
and
never like
monsters.
an alien civilization creature
No, I don't think so.
thing in there. Yeah.
This movie is so like different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like it's like, you know, there's like genres of movies. There's like, you know, gangster movies and space movies, but this one's just like underwater. They're on the drilling rig.
Mm-hmm.
Government's doing something. Aliens just out there,
Yeah.
right?
Got a lot going for it. So when did you see this movie first? Did you?
I did see it in the theater.
Okay,
I
so
remember
you
going.
saw previews and you're like, oh, I want to see that movie.
Well, no, I have a little backstory to it,
Okay,
but we'll
that's
talk
true. I
about
forgot
that
about
later.
that.
Yeah, I have a huge backstory, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I did go to the theater to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie for me, I mean, 89, I was 8 years old when this movie came out.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember. I don't remember it like coming like in the theaters or if there was hype around it or anything like that. But I do remember my parents renting it, and I remember that, you know, they watched it when I went to bed one night, and I think I woke up the next morning and I'm like, "What is this movie?" Because I rented something else, and I asked if I could watch it. They said sure, so I popped it in, and I loved it.
Did you love it, or did you like that was cool?
Well,
but what did I just watch? I don't know.
Okay, so what I really like about this movie is it's on the lines of like, say, Aliens or The Thing, where there's like, even before you get to what the movie's about, you're kind of put into a world where you know nothing. You got these underwater oil rig driller people, right?
Right.
The Thing, it's like these people working in Antarctica. Aliens, you got these people working in space. And like, even just that there's a lot going on there that's like, I'm invested in the movie because I'm just like, I could just watch a movie how you guys do your jobs.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's
Like,
the thing too. It's like it's not like they were guys on like some oil drilling platform that everybody knows what it looks like. It's like, oh, hey, that's cool. Their drilling rig is on the ocean floor.
Yeah.
And then they got this tube that goes up to this big tanker.
Yeah.
I mean, the story behind that, and their submersibles and how they get from the tanker down to the, to the rig is just like, yeah, you could do a whole movie just on that.
So I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So just even watching the beginning when you're watching them function, and in every movie you're coming into, as the audience, you're watching this movie and you're coming into a moment, right? So you don't know like, oh, tell me about how the rig was designed, or how did this cast of, these guys all come together to work here.
Right.
No, you're just like, you're in the middle of their moment and they're working. And I don't know, that stuff just is interesting to me, especially because it's in a world like I don't see or know about.
Right. So you have like this super cool like work environment going on, and then your subplot is you got the nuclear submarine which crashes.
Right.
Right. So you could have written the whole movie about just them trying to find the sub, and look for survivors or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the conflict of them like trying to get the warhead and the guy going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, there's aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too, where I think this movie plays really well, and I think James Cameron got this from Carpenter and Ridley Scott with The Thing and Abyss, or Thing and Aliens, is that you obviously have your main character, like, Ed Harris, but then you got all these like background characters. They're not the story, but yet what you get out of them is very little, but it's like enough where you're like, oh, you understand. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like you get so much with so little based off of what you can get from these characters. Like, I feel like, you get a lot of their personality by what you see very quickly. Like, I don't know, to me that's like masterful storytelling, because I feel like a lot of people will spend a lot of time trying to develop that, but if you can do it quickly and get that story going, then that's good stuff. And I feel like in the opening scene when Ed Harris is having all these little interactions with these characters, you get a sense of who they are and just their relationships, and
yeah, all the characters are like super defined,
right? But like that's the what I'm looking for. They're defined,
yeah,
but there wasn't much going into that definition.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot to figure it out. You've got one night, she's the the cowgirl piloting the sub, like the tow truck driver pulling Deep Coral along. You got Hippie, the jammer, and each one of them had what's the guy's name? And he's like, he put up his fist. He's called this the Hammer.
The Hammer.
I can't remember his name. Yeah. And then, you got the Navy SEALs. I mean, Michael Biehn, his character was like spot on. Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee. Had too much coffee.
One thing I want to talk about coffee, but going back to One Night, and again, you see these things in other movies, but even just like in her sub,
Yeah.
when she's towing it, it just like you see like that's her little world,
Yeah.
and like you see like her, snacks and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like lived in, and I just think that's really cool. It's just all these little things that really like I think draws you in.
Yeah. I remember James Cameron he did like a promo interview, and he says, The Abyss, it's got hardware, but it's not about hardware. It's a love story set in this sort of dark, sort of terrifying environment or something like that. But yeah, I mean, in his mind, it's like, no, this is a love story. This is what's going on. This is what, what the movie's about.
But there's a lot of hardware.
And he likes his hardware.
And you're right, that it is a love story. Absolutely.
That was really more evident, their relationship in the extended version. There was a lot more dialogue, a lot more background, and you kind of felt their relationship. I noticed watching it last night, you really felt their relationship, the tension there with those extra scenes that they added.
Mm-hmm. So that's with Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Mastrantonio.
Oh, okay. You got the last name. I wasn't even going to try it.
Mastrantonio. Yeah. All I know is she's Maid Marian from
Mastrantonio.
From Robin Hood, and she's Scarface's sister from Scarface.
Oh, okay.
That's what I would remember her. I think her name was Gia in that movie. But
okay.
Yeah, I think their dynamic is amazing.
Yeah.
And you and again, just with the storytelling, you get so much from just these little interactions that they have. You could tell like, oh man, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
And you sense the hatred, but also like that hatred's only strong because there was,
yeah,
there was that love that was there too.
Yeah.
And I love that scene where he gets that ring, he throws it in the toilet.
Yeah.
And has to stick his hand in there.
And
his hands, you always see like remnants of blue throughout the rest of the whole movie.
He's got tiny bowl blue hands. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We skipped over like the very opening with the submarine and it gets caught in the turbulence, and then that scene is like heartbreaking.
It is.
It's like really heartbreaking because it's like these guys like.
That's why.
Man, their faces, man. Right when they like. We're heading right for the rock, and we're gonna die.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. That was heartbreaking.
I think I would never want to be in a submarine.
This movie's hard to watch. It really is, because
Yeah.
it's just like submarine, and you're underwater, and it's cold. Not only and it's cold, and you can't get out either. You're so far down. It's not like you can like
and those
go out the back door and swim to the top.
Those guys, yeah, they knew like there's nothing they can do. You're stuck.
Could you do that? Could you do that
I
as a
don't
job?
think I
I don't
could.
think I could do it.
No.
Ugh.
No.
Mm.
It's like I don't know. I'd rather take my chances out in space than for some reason a submarine. I don't know why, but I mean they're both very similar.
I think it'd be less horrifying to lose oxygen real fast and be like, boop, you're gone, than to like drown.
Yeah.
Drown's scary. Drowning's scary.
And then you got to worry about sharks. No
Yeah,
such
you
thing
got
as
to
space
see-
sharks.
So what if there were space sharks? I just thought about that.
That's
What?
a movie right there. Space sharks. Why?
Is there anything?
Why hasn't there been a movie with space sharks?
Let's write it. Let's write the movie Space
Oh
Sharks.
man, it was so well.
They'd be like just at like kind of like the shallows of the atmosphere. They're just like they kind of hang
Yeah.
out right there. It's like if you can break the atmosphere or
they're just right there.
they're right there. You got to get past them,
around.
like satellites, but they're sharks,
But the sharks,
and they just keep circling around. Yeah. You got to go like repair a satellite, right?
yeah.
You're like a satellite worker, and you got to like do repairs like on the space station. But there's always like
With
this
the
thing.
dangerous space sharks.
The space sharks will get you, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that they like wound you; it's just they can rip open your suit. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they can wound you too, but they can rip open your spacesuit.
Just eat you. They're hungry. Yeah, they'll just eat your face off.
Space sharks.
That's a gold mine. That's
That's
that
like
should be on the USA Network.
yeah. The Sharknado guys can
The
do that
Sharknado
one.
guys need to come up with that. Okay, so let's talk about Lieutenant Coffee.
Lieutenant Cop.
Yeah, Michael Biehn,
Yeah.
which is like James Cameron's right hand,
His go-to guy.
his go-to guy.
Yeah.
Terminator, Aliens.
He's good.
Yeah.
He played that character so well, like when he's like flipping out.
Yeah. He also, I mean, who he was in the beginning when he wasn't flipping out was just a really good character.
Yeah.
You really do see him be
Yeah.
two different types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is probably a trivia question. What was the thing that he had? It was whatever that was. She was warning him, like, "Hey, did you test all your men
Yeah,
for this?" And
it's
he was
something
like,
like-
"No, we're clear. We can do it."
It's like it's like a decompression sickness kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was the one that actually ends up getting it.
Yeah.
But
I was surprised that his guys weren't like, they took him a long time to come around and say this guy's nuts. He's sick.
yeah. Well, I think too, it's just like, that's our friend. That's our brother in arms.
Yeah.
You know, we might know, like, you know, if we can, they're probably just more like, if we could just wrap this up, we can get him back up before he gets really bad.
Yeah.
But you're right. They were a bit slow.
They let him go way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Michael Biehn. I think he's a fantastic actor. And made a lot of my good childhood movies.
Ned Harris is great. He's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw an Ed Harris movie before this.
Oh.
Like, this might have been my very first Ed Harris movie. 'Cause,
My big Ed Harris movie is The Right Stuff.
yeah,
I know he's been in like a bunch of
a
stuff.
lot of stuff. But this, to me, I think this was my, oh, now I know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that it's not like they stand out. Like, he just always does a good job just being
Mm-hmm.
Ed Harris.
And intense. You
Yeah.
ever see the movie The Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that with Michael Biehn. Michael Bihn's in that movie too.
What character did Ed Harris play? He was like a government guy, right? Or
He was
something?
the actual. Oh, that's a movie we need to talk about. That's a great movie. He was.
Yeah,
the,
I need to
the,
see that again.
not the terrorist, but he was in a sense the bad guy,
Was he
but
the bad
also
guy?
he was doing it. You know, he was also doing it for a good cause.
Yeah.
Is one of those things where, yeah, he was trying to get like, yeah, he was leading the kidnapping.
All right.
But then he realized like he was never going to follow through with it because he was like, I'm never going to release this gas on the American public. I just wanted, they called my bluff, you know? So yeah, that he was great. And yeah, Michael Bihn's in that movie too. Fantastic movie. So
we got a crash sub.
Crash Sub.
We've got the guys on the ocean floor that have been told to, you got to cooperate with the military.
We'll pay you 3 times.
Yeah.
They all jumped on it. But Ed
Yeah.
Harris, he was the only one. Bud was the only one that was like, it's not about money, it's about safety.
Yeah.
So, and that was just so cool how like that whole thing can just move.
The drilling rig. The rig. Yeah.
You just pick up and you move underwater. It's like an underwater floating base. But
Yeah.
I will tell you this, and well, we talked about this earlier, but it was, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I'm 42 years old now.
Yeah.
Saw this movie when I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
I went all through that time from 8 years old to 42 thinking that the breathing liquid was not real.
I could see that.
I thought that was completely made up and not a real thing. But apparently it's real.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Oxygenated fluorocarbon
Yes.
emulsion or something like that.
And when they put that rat in that liquid, he was genuinely breathing the real oxygenated
Fluorocarbon emulsion.
emulsion liquid.
Was that a trivia question? I don't know.
I don't
Depends on
know.
if I got it.
I call it breathing liquid.
Yeah, I remember during production they talked about it because we knew about it, and they
Mhm.
said, "Yeah, it was real."
Yeah.
But then I didn't see the scene until like the movie where the rat's breathing it, and it's just like, dude, he's breathing it. Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
That little mouth, right? That little.
Yeah. But he's
little
actually
mouth,
doing
he's
it.
doing it.
This whole time, I always thought they really did just put a rat in like pink liquid just to like, hey, yeah, we'll just hold him down for a little bit and then we'll bring it up. If
Yeah.
not, we got another rat.
Yeah. But Ed Harris didn't do it. No way. He didn't do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was-
No.
that
So
was-
apparently at the time, just they tested it on tons of animals, but humans, not so much yet.
I'm surprised they haven't done a human yet.
They might have.
They
I think I
probably
was
have.
reading that up until when they were filming this movie that they had not done humans, but
Mm.
since then they might have tried. But
Now the fluid
Crazy.
it goes into your lungs, so your lungs won't collapse in a deep dive, right?
I think was that the
Yeah,
benefit to it?
yeah, so your lungs wouldn't collapse.
Yeah.
But he still went down like super deep. Why didn't his body just like collapse? Aren't they supposed to have like super crazy like? I'm trying to think, there was another movie. Wasn't Deep Star 6 or Leviathan where they had these like Robbie the robot looking deep dive suits that were like
Mhm.
super.
I think that was Deep Star 6.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When he's taking that dive going down to the trench, it's just like
He starts to kind of go crazy.
starts going crazy with the pressure and
Mhm.
everything. Oh man, this movie's hard to watch.
It is hard to
There's
watch.
a lot of moments like when he has to go, when Michael Bean's flipping out and then the moon pool and they got to swim to the other. They're trying to sneak up on him.
Yeah.
That swim.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding your breath.
Hold your breath. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then when they crash, the cab and he's got to swim her back.
So that, okay. I did want to talk about that.
Let's
but,
just talk about what.
that haunted me as a kid.
Oh, really?
It really did. Like, it really disturbed me. Just the fact that, like, she was like, I guess just you're put in a situation and she's just like he even said like, look, you're a smart girl. We can figure this out. Tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And she was just like, there's nothing we can do.
There's nothing we can do. She's a smart girl.
She just said, look, I'll drown. You can revive me. And my body will, it's cold enough to where I have a chance.
Yeah.
But it's just the idea of like, I'm preparing to die. And maybe just at 8 years old, I didn't think about stuff like that. I'd watch,
it's scary. It's scary
I'd
now.
watch,
It's just
I watch
like,
Rambos
yeah.
and all these movies where people were dying and stuff, but like never a moment where a lady or a person was just like, okay, I'm going to die.
Yeah, because this wasn't like some like crazy action movie.
No.
This is like it was like a real life situation.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, it's not like they have some sort of elixir that they're gonna like inject her with and bring her back to life because it's a sci-fi movie. No, it's like just real world. I'm gonna drown. You're gonna revive me. We can do this.
And just the fact that like when the water's rising, and that's just another tension, right? Because you see it happening.
I'm telling
and
you,
you're
man.
having the moments of this is it. This is my final moments, and he had to put on the helmet to start breathing, and she finally says like, "I'm scared."
Okay, I
and
know,
that
but
was
you
it.
know what? Once they decided to do that, they should have just booked
They
it.
should have booked it.
They should have
Yeah.
booked it. She would have had her freak out moment en route, right?
So that's one of the I was reading about that. Like that's a mess up that because James Cameron's not one to like he thinks these things through.
Yeah, but it's the drama of him holding her and being there at the moment when she like takes her last breath.
Yeah,
He needed that.
They should have. Yeah, you needed that for the drama. But you're right. Like, all right, if you make that decision, we're gonna swim. You're gonna hold your breath for as long as you can,
Yeah.
and then revive you. But
yeah,
yeah, that really messed me up as a kid.
yeah.
And I'm glad, I don't know if spoiler alert, but she ends up living. They revive her, but
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done if like that was it. Like she did die, and like she was gone. So
Let's talk about aliens.
all right, did you like these aliens?
I thought they were cool. There wasn't a lot of interaction with them.
No. So as a kid, this was kind of like there was enough of this movie with just the whole underwater atmosphere, the rig, coffee going crazy, nuclear mystery. There was enough that kept me going, but I kind of checked out when the aliens happen at the end. I don't know why.
Oh, at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, in the beginning, the aliens buzz the submarine and it's out of
Mhm.
control. So that's your first little sign of something's going on. And then remember when she's underwater trying to get the oxygen tanks, and then the little manta and the little scout alien pop up.
Mm-hmm.
They were just kind of scattered throughout the film, just like little points here and there.
So the whole thing she was trying to say is like that they were like machine, like they were
like, yeah, she was trying to explain like there's some like a bioengineered machine type thing.
That there's more to it.
Yeah, like the craft, like the little scout and the manta ray craft that sort of came to visit her.
Mm-hmm.
But that's different than the actual sort of winged jellyfish angel looking
manta ray thing.
I don't know that they could have gotten a whole lot of action out of them because they were puppets. You know, this was like the big, we need to talk about the pseudopod, the water snake.
Yeah. So at the time, this was pretty cool. I mean, it still is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
The CGI. So
yeah,
it's one of the, I used to think this was the very first CGI ever in movies, but I guess it's not. I guess young Sherlock Holmes has that, right?
Yeah, they got CGI like bits and, but not like this full real looking character.
I guess so. Abyss in the history of CGI, it's the first photorealistic fluid morphing. So it was the first movie ever released with new CGI elements. So James Cameron, like he does, takes his technology and
he's the guy that
makes it better.
He's the guy to develop technology to get his movies done.
Right. Like he doesn't wait for the future. He's just like, I got to do this now, and I'll create the technology to do so.
Well, and it was like with the diving helmets too. Previous to this, divers couldn't talk to each other. He actually developed the communication device so that they could talk to each other underwater. That didn't exist before.
Not doing all the hand
motions. Yeah, they didn't have to do hand signals and stuff. Yeah. It's like, we got to talk to each other, guys. We got to make this happen. Yeah. Dang. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, like all his movies, including the Avatars, which they're okay. They're okay.
Wait, what's the Avatar? Oh, the blue
Avatars,
people.
Blue
people. Yeah, I know.
And I'm more down on Avatar because of the actual story, not necessarily what it looks like or the effects, because like those are top notch. But man, James Cameron, he really has done probably more for filmmaking than a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, he was all into this diving stuff and deep diving, and that kind of led to his work on Titanic because he wanted to go down and see it for real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So the pseudopod, I have a strong memory because it was brand new on set for The Abyss. We were inside one of the little camera booths, and the guys got a little bit of footage from the pseudopod, like fresh like dailies, and we're watching the thing like, whoa, no way.
So you're one of the first person to lay eyes on that technology.
Yeah,
really.
Watching some dailies and seeing what it looks like and how it's like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. You ever think like he's trying to pitch like an idea, like, okay, then we're gonna have this, and some people are just like, you're crazy.
You can't do that.
How can you even do that? That's gonna look so dumb.
Yeah. The aliens, I mean, they were kind of puppets. They couldn't do a whole lot with them. And then how do you interact with them because they fly around underwater?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was good. That's what the difference between the theatrical version and the extended edition is that in the end, there was a very quick little, oh, you saved me, thanks. Oh, we see you. You watch our TVs, don't you?
Yeah,
see all that stuff, all the little footage, the whole thing with the tidal wave. None of that was in the final.
The tidal wave wasn't, was it?
Yeah, none of that little sort of where the aliens are kind of preaching to him moment.
Yeah. I forgot that tidal wave was from Abyss, because I see that a lot. Like people just show clips of movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's a crazy movie. But you're right, that was from Abyss, but
Yeah.
it wasn't in the regular edition.
I almost think it's more rounded out without it. I didn't think we needed to go that far with the. I mean, people know they kind of suck.
So was it
You
was
know?
it that
It's
just like they knew because again there's a subplot with the growing tensions in the Middle East or growing tensions in the world
yeah,
that were going down, that were on the brink of nuclear war, and the aliens are just like, look, that's not good. I'm gonna punish you guys. That's why they took out the sub, because it's carrying the nuclear war heads, right?
Oh, I don't know that they took it out. They just buzzed them and
They buzzed them, right?
Yeah, but I don't think they don't.
But why do they interact with them in the first place? That's the way I took it. Like maybe they didn't intention for it to crash, but they were like trying to interact with them. Like, look, there's a reason why we're picking this sub. It's because it's got all these nuclear weapons on it.
Yeah. And then they had to get more involved when they took the nuclear weapon and to take it back. They were going to take it down and to the craft. They thought,
because they thought it was
a Russian bogey,
right?
Yeah. So it's like, no, now they got to step in and
But clearly these are Russians.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're not Russians at all.
I mean, it's kind of like the same storyline as The Day the Earth Stood Still, where the alien comes from another planet and he's going to offer great things to the people, but you guys got to stop fighting.
Yeah,
you guys got to come together and stop fighting. Which they could never.
No,
they can never pull it together, and he takes off. Yeah.
So that nuclear, my little fandom moment is the nuclear bomb. How it looked like a cone.
Yeah.
So my dad had a cone in his garage for years, and this is something I always grew up with. Like it was a cone in our garage.
Okay.
It was like a hard, I don't know if it wasn't ceramic, but it was heavy, and and so once I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, this is now our nuclear bomb, because this is what I think all nuclear bombs look like now.
But what was it?
Okay, so what it was, and I found out kind of a couple years later, once I started playing with it, and I started asking, Dad, what really is this thing? And it was, my dad grew up in Monrovia area, and one day he's walking home from school, and there's a business there, don't know what it was, and for some reason he threw a rock at the business and broke a window. And I think maybe it was on a weekend. Somehow his parents knew, he felt bad, and like wrote a letter and confessed up to it. And they were like, oh, young man, it was a rocket. It was like the end of a rocket or a missile. I can't remember, one of those two things.
Oh, like the nose cone.
But they
or
were
something?
making those. That's what that company was. They said, here you go, son, because of your honesty. Well, here's a rocket. Here's a missile.
Oh, that's cool.
And so he had it up until 2005 when he moved out of the house, but that thing was just sitting in our garage.
Oh, that's cool.
For a long time. I wish I would have took it.
That would have been cool.
But yeah, but we were, we'd play with it, and that was always our nuclear bomb. In
Pretend
the
it was a nuclear warhead. Yeah, that's cool.
So, but yeah, I just think that I always thought the aliens were interacting with them to stop them, but in the special edition, it came across that the aliens were actually going to destroy everyone.
Yeah, they basically said, we could kill you.
We could kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stop fighting.
Because they had the ocean rise like in different parts of the world too, right? It was like different. It was everywhere, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I just remember it being like local.
There was a couple places.
Yeah.
I know one was San Francisco. One was like a beach area.
Yeah. And then they had like those interviews with like people, which I thought were kind of out of place.
Yeah.
It just seemed kind of odd.
Like, well, what can we do? And I think that was the whole point, the message of like,
yeah,
no, you should be able to do something. You can make a difference. You can stop nuclear war.
Yeah. No, I like the theatrical version better.
All right. So if you've never seen the movie Abyss, you get Jim's approval to watch. James, approval to watch the regular version, not the special edition.
The theatrical. I think it's a more well-rounded. If you're a sci-fi fan, it works better, I think.
Yeah.
Because there were scenes that were added that kind of enhance certain things, like the love relationship was a little more intense, and you got to know the characters a little better, but I don't think it was necessary.
All right.
I think you need to look at the beginning to end and how it plays out. I think the theatrical version is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I got my 4K pre-ordered, so either I already have it or I will have it today when this episode comes out.
Really?
And I'm gonna pop that bad boy in and watch the regular version.
Why are you gonna do it again?
I'm gonna do it again.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did that the first time I ever watched Abyss. I remember like watching it and then watching it again.
Oh.
Not right after, but
Yeah.
pretty soon after. So it had been years since I've seen this movie, so it truly was a treat to sit down and watch it. And for a lot of these movies that we get together to talk about, I sit there with my notes and I'm typing things up as we're watching it, things to talk about. But this one, it was hard because I was like, oh yeah, I was in it again.
Right.
So
no, it holds up really well too. I mean, James Cameron movies do hold up well, but sometimes the story doesn't, or there's something about it that just seems like, but this one really holds up. And I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've been waiting for this for a while because you got a lot of movie magic to talk about.
I got a lot of movie magic.
Because you worked on this movie.
I did.
And are you credited in this movie?
I am credited.
Okay.
Spelled my name wrong, but I'm credited. I'm credited.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, this was my first big movie job.
Okay.
And it was big. I mean, it was like there was so much to build because, with James Cameron. Maybe he can be Jim Cameron. I'll be James. He designs everything. Deep Core didn't exist. The underwater drilling rig didn't exist. The Benthic Explorer didn't exist. Even the submersibles didn't exist. So he pretty much had to build everything, which means then for all the visual effects, you got a lot of stuff to build.
Yeah.
So I spent a year on that movie, which was a long time for a project. Spent 6 months at DreamQuest and 6 months at Design Centers. And we were mainly responsible for building all the dry for wet miniatures. And what that means is that all of the shots that look like they're underwater, but they're not underwater, it's shot dry to look like it's wet.
Yeah, I was trying to picture some of those. So a lot of the, would it be like when the rig's crashing down or like the crane's crashing down? Because that kind of look like, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, that's in water. So
that really was in water.
Yeah, so so right out of the gate, opening scene where you see the USS Montana come into frame.
Uh-huh.
So was shot on a dry stage, and that was the 15-foot Montana that I worked on.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I'll give you a little secret there. On the opposite side of the conning tower was a little wooden door. Just because it was funny.
Just because it was funny.
Yeah. So that opening shot was that was dry, and then it cuts to when it's crashing. There's a larger miniature version which was done by another shop, and that was actually underwater.
Oh.
So all of our miniatures were 1/8 scale, and all of the sort of real working miniature submersibles were 1/4 scale. So another shop was doing that set of miniatures. They built Deep Core for underwater. They built all the submersibles for underwater, the Montana for underwater. And then on our end, we did Deep Core for the dry stage, all the submersibles for the dry stage, the Montana to be shot dry in a smoke-filled room with motion control. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I kind of went through a list of there's so many shots.
Yeah.
I had more than 15 models that I worked on and all these underwater sets. And, God, so much work. And, I watch a movie that I work on and it's usually like, oh, where's that scene? Oh, it's coming. No, it's just spattered through the entire movie. It's like one shot. And then,
they just kind of used it over and over?
No, I'm just saying the stuff that I worked on.
Oh.
Like, I worked on that shot. Oh, that's the shot with that, that model.
Yeah.
That's the shot with that model. Oh, there's the alien towers. Oh, now we're going into that. That's that shot. There's so many shots that are just peppered through the entire movie, which makes it kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's not like, so many projects that I've done and it's been like, it's like one and done, or it's just one effect, something gets blown up and that's it. But this one was just like throughout the entire movie, there's just cool stuff that I worked on. So I had my hand on the Montana sub. deep core. Actually, this is off deep core here. That's actually one of the lights.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Worked on cab, flatbed, divers. A lot of the 40-foot Montana, which was on the ocean floor. Worked on that. The big ship that rose up out of the ocean at the end. All the little tiny deep core and the tiny benthic explorer. Those were some of the first things I built. So those were fun. Just tiny little desktop models. And then we also worked on, had my hands on the Scout. You know, when she's getting the oxygen tanks and she counters that manta ray.
Yes.
So I had my hands on that and the Scout ship as well. And what's crazy is like this is all I say it's pre-CG, but really the only CG was the pseudopod. Those spaceships were sculpted plexiglass and clear vacuum forms and fiber optics and clear tape. You know, it was all just practical stuff. But yeah, lots and lots of miniatures. I think the one that's the most interesting that I like to tell people is we had the 40-foot Montana on the ocean floor set. I mean, that was a big model. And then DreamQuest built a whole gantry system, basically a big marionette that would fly the submarines on wires around the miniature. So it looked like they were actually, you know, you're on a dry stage.
Yeah.
But the submarines are all like sort of in a marionetted sort of rig, and they can motion control them moving. But what was really interesting is when you look inside of the cockpit of the miniature, there was a real rear projection screen in there. I mean, it was small. I mean, you figure it's only, you know, maybe 6 inches round, but there was a rear projection screen inside with a tiny handmade movie projector. Yeah, so they would photograph, you know, the pilots, right? Basically create a movie, and then took that little movie projector and would put it inside the miniature, and it would project it as if the person was inside.
Oh wow!
So any of those shots you see where you see like the
person moving around
inside the submarine, and the submarine's coming towards you.
Like the cab too?
Yeah, so cab and flatbed were done that way.
Wow.
So when you're actually like on set with the model standing in front of you and they're running that film inside, seeing the person in it, it's freaky. Because it looks
like a tiny person.
Yeah, it looks totally real. And then the lenses on the front of the subs, they had the big bubble lens. We had to figure out a way to make it look, because you can't just, if it's just a dome, then it doesn't look like it has that sort of lensing effect to it.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're underwater looking at something, it kind of
bend and
it kind of distorts. Weird. Yeah. So basically there was an outer shell and then an inner shell of plastic with about a gap of about 3/4 of an inch. And that was backfilled with glycerin, just a clear liquid. So that when you looked at it, you're like, it looks like
it's water.
Yeah, it looks like it's got that lensing effect. And then you have a movie projector rear screen and on the inside of the model, making it look like the person was there. It was just like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you ever get to meet James Cameron?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And he came out to DreamQuest, and we had the manta ray, the manta ray looking alien spacecraft. And he was coming in, and we had the top of the hull open on it. And model shop guys are always goofing around. So I found a large scale V8 engine from like a Corvette or something, Corvette kit, you know, with big headers and pipes and everything. And I just nestled it right down inside there and made it look like it was part of the model.
Yeah.
Which I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But we were just messing around anyway. And he came in and he looked at it and he just shakes his head. And he actually thought it was funny because his background, he started off in the film industry as a model maker.
Oh, okay.
And so that's his deal. He worked in a model shop. He gets it. He thought it was really funny.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's good.
That's cool.
And so that was my encounter with James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that does sound a lot better than from what I've heard about like Ed Harris's.
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff about what he had to deal with on this set.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I got this piece. I got to show off my. Well, I'll show you this for. This is the Ed Harris diving helmet.
okay.
All right. So this one actually is
That was the end one, or the final suit.
final suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pattern. Now this one was never used. This is a half scale.
Okay.
We made a quarter scale puppet, so just smaller than this one, and they were able to use it to get the shots they needed. They thought they needed a bigger puppet, so we started to make a backpack and helmet, and this never got used.
No.
So I took it home because I thought it might make a cool dog helmet, you know, if you put it on a dog, right?
Yeah.
I never did. All right. And then I've got this,
That's, oh man, look at that.
the NTI tower.
Yeah.
So this was the test casting we pulled out of the mold. We kind of used it for reference.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved it. I'm glad I did. And but this is the size at the very end when the mothership comes out of the water and you see all
the ships up.
all the spires
Mhm.
around it. So that was the scale here.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's also another shot of this scale where when Ed Harris is flying with the alien, you know, they come over that crest and then you see the mothership down below and it's all lit up like Tron. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was this scale as well.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah. One of these days this thing's rough, like really rough, but
Yeah.
and I cut the beak off because it doesn't fit well on a shelf, but yeah, it's pretty
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So would you say this was the biggest movie you worked on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah, projects usually don't go as big as that, but this was like, there was so much to build.
Hmm.
I mean, everything. Yeah. Oh,
That's awesome.
it was fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the deeper theme in this movie. And, you know, no pun intended, the Abyss, deeper theme.
Oh, I get it. The deeper theme.
There you go.
The deeper theme.
There you go. Yeah.
You going with the love story?
No.
You're gonna go with the
no,
aliens.
No.
Yeah.
So there was a line in the movie that I thought was really good. And it was when, you know, they've had their encounters with the aliens and they're trying to figure out what it is. Of course, Lindsay's all about, she knows what it is. She's like, no,
Yeah.
this is like, this is like a species or highly evolved. This is a
Yeah.
machine. Like, it's not like a fish, you know, they didn't see a fish down there.
Right.
And, you know, Coffee's is like, well, it's the Russians.
Yeah.
We need to take care of
The
that,
Russian boat.
you know?
Yeah.
And so she says something that I thought was pretty nice, that we all see what we want to see. And she says, like, he sees hate,
Mm-hmm.
talking about Coffee, and he sees hate and aliens and Russians. That's what he sees. But, you know, she sees something different. And she says that you have to look with better eyes.
You have to, yeah.
And I thought that was like, oh man, that's good stuff right
You have
there.
to look with better eyes.
You have to
Yeah,
look
yeah.
with better eyes. And
Yeah. And
you know,
I was surprised that Ed Harris didn't like join in her to support her in that. I thought it was odd that he was like kind of like, I can't.
I think, well, he also said something that kind of maybe lends to why he doesn't, is that what did he say? He said, you don't mess with a crazy guy with a nuke. So that just tells you his mind frame throughout most of the movie. He knows this guy's going crazy. He also knows he has a nuke. So he's more or less just
Okay.
trying to like trying to keep them separated.
Yeah, he can't go into her world.
You
'cause
know,
he's got
and
a bigger.
he's just like,
yeah.
I'm trying to just get us through this.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So that's probably why he didn't jump on that. And, you know,
that
he
makes
just
sense.
was like, we're down here. This can go bad. And anyways, but yeah, it reminds me of 2 Corinthians says, so that we fix our eyes, not on what we see, but what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. So it's about perspective. right?
Fix your eyes
It's
on
fixing your eyes on things, and it's changing your perspective for what is right. And I know all of us, I mean, look, you can have this opinion about Frankenweenie. I can have this opinion about
it.
Frankenweenie.
Right. We can differ on things.
Right. We can differ on things. Like,
Yeah.
I have a truth, you have a truth, but there is a truth.
But there is a truth that's an
We're just not seeing it. Whether or not it really is a bad movie and I'm seeing it wrong,
yeah.
or it's a good movie, which I do think you're seeing it wrong.
You just need to see it with better eyes.
Exactly. But anyways, it's just that idea that like we need to, just as people and as Christians, and as we need to see things the way God does. And I think that that goes along with situations, right? It's looking at situations when God does it. And it also goes along with like, we need to see people the way God sees people too.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty, we're about to get into an election cycle.
Yeah.
We're about to get an election year. And there are people that see things that like, look, I see that this is the best way for the country. And I see this is the best thing for the country.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to not look at people as enemies.
Yeah.
That we differ, and I'm not going to agree with some of these things, but we need to see people the way God sees them. That no matter what, they're sons and daughters of God, and
So it's like seeing stuff with better eyes. It's almost like you gotta strip away all your preconceived notions,
right?
Personal feelings and opinions.
Yeah,
and it's almost like really look at it and not.
Yeah.
Better eye. Yeah.
Look at situations of like, okay, what is truly happening here, and what is truly right.
Yeah.
And looking at people the way we should be looking at people.
Yeah.
And not trying to get into fights on Facebook or social media.
That's right. Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, but just really understanding that kind of stuff. So I really like that line. We need to look with better eyes.
Yeah.
And that, there's some things that like, we'll talk about in these movies and these deeper themes. But that one's going to stay with me. Like, I want to write that down. I really do feel like that, her saying that's going to, like, oh man, I'm going to think about that some more.
Yeah. I almost think that's a stronger theme or a stronger lesson for the film than the whole, cautionary tale and the aliens or warning people not to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, average, kind of the same old thing, but just having eyes to see things is a bigger, is a bigger takeaway.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. You gonna get a little plaque for your office?
I might. Yeah.
A little plaque. You can get a. Yeah, you need to get like a poster and have like somebody sign it and write.
It's gonna be like one of those motivational posters. You know what I mean? With all the black, but then a little picture of like Lindsay just saying that, like, better eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, I could do that.
All right.
And then another one with Ed Harris is like, you don't mess with the crazy guy with the nuke. But that's a good life lesson there too.
That's a good, yeah.
You never mess with a crazy person with a nuke.
Yeah. All right. Two motivational posters we got to work on.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, man, this trivia. Let's get into this battle. I'm interested to see how this one goes.
I have no idea how this is going to go.
Yeah, this isn't Star Wars. This isn't Terminator, Rocketeer. This is like, I haven't seen this, even though this is the movie that you got to see. I love this movie. It's a good movie. It's not a movie I've seen a lot. So
I've seen it a lot, but I don't feel like it's a trivia movie.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how it goes. All right.
All right. I forgot who won Star Wars again.
Oh, that's you.
I did win that one.
So did you go through? Did you like get home that night and walk through the front door and have your chest puffed out and your hands in the air and said, "I won, I won"?
I did. Well, I did not.
Jenny brought out a victory
what
cake.
I did was I came in. I said, "Well, trivia was interesting today," and she goes, "Oh, who won?" And I said, "Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to watch the episode and be surprised?"
Oh.
And so she said, just tell me, because I'm not going to watch the episode.
That hurts.
I'm just joking.
That hurts, right?
No, she watches them when she can.
Yeah.
Her phone is kind of jacked up.
All right. Is that on her phone? That's a big screen. This is like a big screen show. This is like sit down and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll just tell you.
Okay.
The people in our lives,
Yeah. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
All right.
Trivia battle.
Trivia battle time. All right. Well, since I did win,
You
I
get to
guess
choose
I get
who
to choose
goes-
to go first.
Who goes first? Also, I'm making a change. I'm going to make it so that steals are not a full point. They are now a half point.
All right, fine, half point.
Just
Okay.
for the fairness of the game.
I don't know if there's gonna be many steals.
Probably not, but from now on, steals are now a half point.
All right. Okay.
I feel
I'm
like we should
gonna-
like flip for it or something.
No, I'm the reigning champ at this point, so I will.
Reigning champ?
Well, at
Really?
At this point,
I don't know. I don't know the overall score. All right,
Okay.
champ.
For this season, you have 2 wins and he has 1.
yeah, I get to.
Wow, that's a reigning champ of 2-1.
I'm the current. I'm the
All right.
leader. Okay, I'm the standings leader.
All right.
Let's go. Fine. We won't say champ. We'll say leader. All right. All right. Fine. You can go first.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
What
Ready.
is the quote at the beginning of the movie?
Oh, I know who says the quote.
What's the quote at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, at the very beginning, there's a quote.
I know the quote, but I'm not going to be able to say it word for word.
If you get close, I'll accept
Okay.
it.
I'm excited for my half point.
Yeah, because I have no idea what the opening quote is.
Okay. Can I steal it?
Yeah, you
All right.
Steal
It
away.
was Nietzsche, and it was something about like when you look into the abyss is going to stare back at you. Something
Yeah,
like that, right?
that's pretty much it. It's when you look long into an abyss, the abyss also looks into you.
Wait, was this like
Looks into you.
a written quote?
Yeah, the very
In
beginning.
the
of the
very
movie.
beginning of the
Why
movie?
did I miss
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. Were you
You're probably
watching
getting your
it?
popcorn ready. Probably is what you were
Yeah,
doing.
probably.
Okay. Well, and then my next question is, who is the person that's being quoted? Which you said.
I just
so
said, so
you,
I get a point and a half.
you get a point and a half. Okay.
A point and a half? That was the same question.
No.
No, he said that.
Well,
He said his next
first-
question,
first
which was going to be
question.
mine.
Then that can't be 2 because if you know the quote, you know
No, he
who
has
said
he
it.
has a point and a half. Well, no, because so you might
It
have.
was going to be my question though.
It was
no, but
2?
if you know the quote, you would know who said it.
That's not
Not
necessarily
necessarily.
true.
Is it written and it says by
Yes.
Nietzsche?
Yes.
Then if you know the quote, you know who wrote it. That's like you can't split it up.
That's.
I
Just take your point and a half.
I split it up. That's what.
Take your point and a half.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay, you ready for your next
Here's your
question?
Your question.
All right.
Okay, what is the code name of the rescue operation of the sub?
Code name of the rescue operation.
Yes,
I'm about to get another half point.
it's
Dang,
Operation
man.
Blank.
Operation.
I tried to get easy ones.
Should have been paying attention. Operation Deep Crash. I don't know. What is it?
Steel.
Yeah. still.
Operation Salvo.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
Operation
Salvo.
Salvo.
All right.
Jeez. Okay. Are you ready for your next question?
Yes.
Okay, the object being tracked by the submarine was last seen going how many knots?
Oh,
They're tracking it.
yeah, and they're like nothing goes that fast.
Yeah.
145.
No.
Nah. I don't
So
know.
if I get it,
Close.
do I get the steal?
You get the steal if you
Yeah.
want
I
to.
think it was 300 knots.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
It was 130.
Oh,
knots.
130.
It was 100.
I got a 3. I got a 3. It was a 3 in there.
Yeah.
That was
How fast is 130 knots?
I
pretty
don't even know
dang
how fast
fast.
a knot is.
Uh,
Has something to do with like they throw a rope over a boat or something.
How
Like,
many
count the knots?
count the knots? Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
Okay, next question.
I'd like to get one of these. Right.
Like a knot? Oh, a question.
Okay, when initially driving the sub down to the rig, Lindsay is wearing a jumpsuit. What color is the jumpsuit?
Well, it's red or orange.
I mean, you got to choose a color.
You said it, but you got to pick one.
Oh, you have a 50-50 chance right now.
I know, but sometimes orange looks red, and sometimes a reddish orange looks orange. I'm gonna say orange.
That's correct.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
orange.
It's
All
orange.
right.
Okay, next question. There are 2 license plates on the front
Yeah.
of the underwater rig. What
Mhm.
states are the 2 plates from?
I don't know. I'm glad. I remember seeing that, and I almost wrote them down because I'm like, I bet they're going to ask me, what's the license plate numbers?
Not
But
the
I'm like,
numbers.
you know
I just
what?
want to know
Forget that.
what state
No,
they're from.
I don't think I made those out, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I don't know. I want to say Missouri's one. It's Iowa or Missouri.
No.
Okay, then I don't know.
Deal?
Steal. Maybe a quarter point. One was Louisiana,
Yes.
and the other one was
Well, that makes sense. Should have picked
New Mexico or something.
probably
I don't-
Florida.
I don't know what the other one was. One was
you-
Louisiana.
Well, they're listening to country music.
Yeah.
So one was Louisiana.
That was Tennessee.
Florida.
If you guys just keep guessing, see who gets it first.
Well, he already got. He got one.
Okay, I'll give it to you for that. It was Oklahoma. Oklahoma. So that's a
Yeah.
half point.
Oh, so you think that? Oh, they weren't on flatbed; they were on deep core.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Yeah, they're on
Yeah.
they're on
Oh,
deep
okay.
core.
Okay,
You see it when they're moving to the site.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, next question. You're probably gonna get this one. What is the name?
This
of,
is my question, right? Or is this his question?
this is his question.
Oh, my
geez.
question. Okay.
What is the name of the ROV that was used to explore the submarine?
They used it was either Big Geek or Little Geek. They used Little Geek for the
That is correct. They
Yeah.
used Little Geek.
Little Geek.
Okay. You are now in the lead by half a point.
I would have
Okay.
hit that Fred one.
Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah, thanks for messing that one up.
Yeah.
What stuffed animal character is stuck to the window inside of the rig?
It's Garfield.
That is correct.
Yeah.
There's a
Mhm.
Garfield stuck inside the
I
window.
thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing like in the '90s, right? You see those people's cars.
Yeah.
They have a Garfield in their window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Did you know anybody that had a Garfield in the window of their car?
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty common.
It was common, right?
I know we didn't.
It was like the baby on board,
Right.
baby on board sticker.
It's like I got a Garfield.
You got a Garfield in my window, yeah.
Garfield on board.
Garfield on board.
Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, this is my question.
This is your
right?
question.
Yeah.
While disarming the warhead, what wire is Bud supposed to cut? If you can remember the color of it, I'm looking for the color of the wire.
I know it was like, don't cut the black one with the yellow wire, and cut the white, or don't cut the. It was like black with the yellow, and then the black with the white. Make sure, and he couldn't tell the color difference.
You're right about the white, but the color, it's not right.
Oh, was it like blue, and I don't know. I don't know the colors. I just know there were colors he couldn't tell what it was underwater. 'Cause it all
Yes.
looked the same.
Give me a guess on the color that he's told to cut. He says, cut the blank with the white stripe.
Not the black with the white stripe, but the blue with the yellow stripe.
I mean, kind of. I'll give it to you. It's blue with the white stripe.
Oh, blue with the white and
Which you
black,
did say at
black
one
with
point.
the yellow,
Yeah,
and he can't tell the difference.
and he cuts. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one he's supposed to
Yeah.
cut. Okay, this is my last question. Okay, so if you get this, you win.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, he wins?
Yeah, but
If I
get it right.
by half a point.
If I get it wrong, you
Oh,
win.
it's so close.
I know.
All
That
right.
Fred one, I'd be winning.
Yeah, you would be. Yeah.
What is the last message Bud sends during his deep dive on his little keypad thing?
Oh my gosh.
What's the last thing he says?
It's like a whole freaking sentence, like a freaking like paragraph.
No, he doesn't.
No, it's not. I know what it is.
Yes, it is. It's talking about like, oh, and then it's after they find out he's alive. Right? He says a lot. It wasn't like when he was speaking the gibberish.
Oh, I thought it was the last one he sent before the.
Is that which one?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
The gibberish one?
No.
It's the one after he's fine, right? And he's talking about like
No,
they're
I'm-
wanting, they
No.
just wanted us to be better or something like that.
No, he's talking about the one like they think he's.
No, man, you have to ask a
gone.
better question because this is so confusing.
I know what he's saying.
Well, give me specifics.
Because at that point, he's still on his dive.
Bud's thinking he's dead. Everybody else thinks he's dead, and he sends one last message.
He says one last message
and then
before the
everybody's-
alien gets him.
yeah, before the alien picks him up.
I don't know.
Deal?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not his last message, but whatever.
It's
I
the
don't
last
know.
message before the alien
During
picks
his
him up.
dive. I considered the dive over once the aliens pick him up.
He said, "Love you, wife.
Oh, it is. Wait, now I'm.
Love you, wife."
Sounds like you need to come up with a different question. Let's find a different question because I
they-
don't think we're gonna.
Yeah, because they. Yeah, he said, "Love you, wife," and then she like starts bawling. They said it
No,
was-
I thought the last one was when he was like it was all gibberish and it wasn't making sense.
No,
And
that
that's
was
when she
that.
realized,
No, but it's like because she says, "Oh, you got to." It's like how much time you have left on your oxygen? It's 5 minutes, and it's like dun dun dun. And then he says, "I knew this was a one-way ticket,
yes,
but I knew I had to come." And then like I go, "Oh, what's that?" And then he types in "Love you, wife," and then she starts. Bawling.
then I thought after that, then it was like all like the
Nah, that was it.
it was like different letters because he wasn't making sense.
That was kind of before he hit the before.
That was
he-
before. I
Yeah.
thought that was after.
I don't know. You know what? Now I'm confused. I don't even know.
No,
if I
I
had
get the
right
point.
thing. Okay.
It's "Love you, wife," because the aliens were like, "We know you're a good person," because they typed up that "Love
Because
you,
they
wife.
said it back to
They
him.
said it back to the one that's like, "You're a good
I remember
guy."
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, fine.
So did I win or no?
Yes.
All right.
You won by 1 point.
By 1 point. That was a close one.
That was close.
That was good.
That's pretty good.
That's
That's
how it
fine.
should. That's how it should be
Yeah.
with the half point. I like the half point system.
I guess I blew it, so I blew it.
You
I-
blew,
you
blew
blew
it
it.
shouting out that answer.
Fred.
I thought it was my question. I thought it was mine.
Was
I got confused.
Nah.
All right. Well, final thoughts. What do you rank this film? James.
I think everybody needs to see this movie because it's so out of left field as far as concept.
Yeah.
It's not you have no clue. If you knew nothing about the movie and you go to watch, you're like, "Oh wow, this is really different. Kind of cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like how I was. Like it was just I didn't knew nothing about it,
Yeah.
and I popped it in.
Yeah.
And I got hooked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's just really different.
Mm-hmm.
Really different.
All right. So what's your ranking?
I put it in at a 7.6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Because
higher.
because it's like really, really good, but it's like not on my favorite. My ranking is more like a favorite thing.
Yeah.
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 So
I
what's
wasn't
yours?
that much. I was at 8.1.
Okay.
And I think maybe that's because I don't know. Like I said, like I think a lot of people, a lot of movie directors and writers today need to be thankful for this movie and all for James Cameron's movies because he's created things, pushed the envelope, and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, 8.1. So, all right. Well, this was fun. This was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a out of left field episode. I don't think a lot of people are talking about Abyss these days, but maybe they are now with the new 4K
Yeah, maybe.
coming out. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to pop that in and watch it
Yeah.
and have a second showing. And I think I'm gonna make my wife sit down and watch it with me.
Has she seen it?
I don't think she has.
Oh, she'd probably
Yeah.
dig it.
I
think,
do
right?
think. I think it's a good movie. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, thank you for checking in and watching this Abyss episode. Sorry that I lost the trivia contest, and sorry that because I assume I just have fans that are rooting for me to win these things, and I feel like I let them down. So I do apologize for that. But again, please like and subscribe and tell us what your favorite scene was in The Abyss. And if you think that maybe I should get the Hurricane Fred question back as a point, I'd really appreciate that. So, all right. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Thank you guys for coming in.
Also, there is a Space Shark movie.
What?
Yeah. It's in pre-production, though.
Unbelievable.
It's in pre-production.
It's not even made yet?
It's not made yet.
Oh, maybe we could steal it.
Unbelievable.
It's pre-production. We can steal it. We can crank this thing out really fast. We can use sock puppets and GI Joes.
Just get it out of the way.
Get it out.
All right, let's go do it.
Let's do it.